them and a little bit of damage to yourself. So your ultimate, after it fades, it just... I don't know what it does, actually.
I know it reduces armor, causes all physical and magical damage taken, 100% armor pierce. Yeah, Shatterstorm to self and enemies for 5. So, it's Shatterstorm, so basically it removes physical and magical to have 100% armor and magic armor pierce. Really? It removes all of your armor?
Oh, it does it to yourself, too?
To yourself, yeah. That's a big part of it, yeah. He becomes
okay,
very
I didn't know
vulnerable.
that.
Yeah, that was the whole point where he timed it. To where, sure, I believe it was myR was the one that was playing it.
Right.
You know, he went and activated his own ultimate, and then right as it exploded, though, that's when Sam countered with his burst damage.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was you just started to build up armor and magic armor, and then that build-up just went away. But I didn't know it actually hindered you.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
There's a downside. There's a downside. It's not that OP. No, but it looks like game number 1 has started, though, ladies and gentlemen, so... I think it's time to actually get into what we came here to cast today. So game number 1, we have Complexity taking on myR here. Best out of 3 from the losers bracket. Let's take a look. Game number 1. All right. So as you can see, we got Complexity, of course, on the Hellborn side. myR on the Legion side here. Both teams going to go through the blind banning phase as always, and B-Kid taking a little bit more time here to ultimately decide who he wants to blind ban, but. Yeah, so we'll have to remake into not remake even, but had to host a public lobby, but not the biggest deal in the world. The really unfortunate only downside of this is that the stats, the individual stats, won't necessarily be tracked as a result of this. So that's a little bit unfortunate. You know, that is kind of a cool part of HoN Tour, in my opinion, with all the stat tracking that's going on, especially. But it's one series in the end. You know, in the long run, may not be the biggest deal, but just kind of a side note right there. Look at the blind bans. Well, Keeper of the Forest, name of the game. Blind ban by both teams. Wild Soul, the other blind ban from myR. Tundra, the other one coming out from Complexity here.
Yep, Keeper of the Forest, no question there. I mean, especially when you're second pick, you want to take that out because first pick, obviously, you have the first round of picks in that lock pick phase. So being second pick, it's pretty obvious. And he actually banned it. Storyfighter actually banned it even though he's first pick. He also banned Wild Soul, so, you know. Very, very predictable stuff so far.
Yeah, nothing too crazy coming out right here. So, Aluna, the Ophelia Tempest now, and a myR Storyfooter, the captain, of course, for myR. It's a fun name to say, Storyfooter. I'm going to follow it up with his locks now, and Glacius, Master of Arms, actually. So, a little bit different there. I mean, you look at myR overall locks. Not only did they start with the Aluna, but then they went into a Glacius and Master of Arms. So, it's not your typical... you know, jungle/suicide options here coming out from myR. It's a little bit different. Whereas B-Kid, he sticks to more so, especially the jungle. Usually we see more of a suicide/jungle, but, you know, when you have hero options like Ophelia and Parasite going into the locking phase, it definitely can make sense picking up heroes like that. So, locking Ophelia Tempest and Parasite as Complexity's options here.
Yeah.
That's 3 very strong locks. So, yeah, kind of curious to... or to get an understanding of exactly what Storyfooter was thinking with his locks, but...
Yeah, the Ophelia and the Parasite together, like locking that as second pick, I don't know if I really agree with that, because if they pick up, like, say, Tempest, you're obviously not going to pick Ophelia and Parasite. But if they pick up Tempest, they can pick up Ophelia or Parasite, because they're going to have the long lane. So, first picking... and that's, of course, with the idea that you're going to run a Suicide Tempest, which, again, I think is still kind of iffy, especially when you're a Legion.
Yeah.
So this is a very interesting lockpick pool, actually. It's not... It's different in the sense that we don't have, like, any Suicides at all, except maybe Tempest, but like I said, I really think Tempest is a pretty crappy Suicide, especially when you're in Legion.
Yeah. Yeah, great point. You know, you talked about that actually. Moomianer, I believe, was one that's going to talk to you about that. How if you are going to attempt a suicide, then definitely doing it on the Hellborn side,
right?
Simply because you can go over to those ancients every now and then, and at least do those somewhat. So, War Beast and Pebble is going to follow up the Fade and Silhouette bans here, though, going into the banning phase. So, of course, one more ban for either side. Dark Lady going to be coming out for myR as their final ban, whereas Complexity. It looks like it is going to be Demented Shaman, actually. A little bit interesting there. And, you know, it's kind of seeing that Demented Shaman ban, especially with, well, I mean, Zephyr even left open throughout all of that. As you look at Complexity, they usually like to ban that Zephyr. But Demented Shaman, the The final ban coming out here from Complexity. Now into the picking stage, though. Wow, both teams actually pretty confident who they wanted to go with. A snap pick engineer coming out from myRevenge, where Zephyr and Wretched Hag picked up by Complexity, though. So speaking of that Zephyr, snap pick really by Complexity at the same time. So we're going to see Complexity running the bird here, Trough.
Yeah, and myRevenge love Engineer, and I've talked about this, how Engineer is just the biggest booming support hero in the scene right now. Paired up with Magnus, paired up with really anything. I mean, that hero is just fantastic in mid.
Yeah.
And it offers so much utility, and when you come to the late game, he's just as effective, if not more effective, than, say, an Andromeda as that kind of support. So, yeah, and then Zephyr and Wretched Hag, that's very strong as well. We see Zephyr banned out, or we saw Zephyr banned out quite a lot during DreamHack, and eventually it comes back right now.
Yeah. Yeah, going back. Nope. Okay, you see right there. Apparently, they might need a remake. Not exactly sure the issue for that, but well, so this is kind of the good thing now. If it is going to be a regular lobby, then at least it could just remake all pick. Won't have to go to the lock picking phase again. But yeah, so seeing the Zephyr picked up by Complexity, though, it's kind of funny. But it actually makes me a little bit more curious too why they even banned the Demented Shaman on top of that. Figuring if they were going to go Zephyr, then they could have possibly gone that combination.
Well. Yeah, that combination by itself is cool, but again, wow, interesting picks. But I really feel like a laning support like Glacius is stronger with Zephyr because you can lane it better. Like you're gonna have a stronger lane. Demented Shaman is great when you're like pushing up and grouping together, but as far as laning, like yeah, you can gust and do the heal bomb, but it's not exactly the most practical thing in the world. Having that initiation with the Glacial Blast from Glacius and then the Ice Imprisonment is just as good, if not better, than Demented Shaman as far as laning goes. So I think it's fine.
Yeah, but yeah, you mentioned definitely some interesting options here coming out from Storyfooter. Malakin and Deadwood going to be picked up here from myRevenge. So we're going to be seeing some Malakin carry potential. And I know we saw Malakin in a recent matchup. I'm blanking on exactly which one it was. But I don't think it was myRevenge, was it? I mean, it could have been, actually. But anyway, we did see him recently, and he did do very well. I mean, this is a hero that can definitely get out of control, and he can really do wonders for your team. It was the Malakin Portal Key. Who was that? I'm trying to remember the Portal Key pickup, but I'm blanking on who it
fails
was,
me.
But anyway, so yeah, I know it was definitely that, but yeah, I'm looking forward to see some Malakin carry potential. And then Deadwood, actually, we talked about that in the past, especially when you see a Zephyr pickup. Deadwood's actually pretty good against these beefy heroes, specifically with his ultimate in the Rotten Grasp. Bubble's the final pickup from Complexity here. Snap pick Tempest out of the lock pool coming out from myRevenge. Now this puts Complexity in a case of, now they'll just go either Ophelia or Parasite most likely, and then probably the Glacius. Yeah, Glacius going to be picked up, and we'll see which jungle they choose here.
Yeah, definitely. As far as jungle goes, I was going to say Ophelia. I mean, they could go Parasite and actually have a very strong lineup as far as being aggressive, like in the long lane, but the Ophelia plus Zephyr combination is so damn strong when you're pushing up as a team, having the heals from your Cyclones, or whatever they're called, their Tornadoes, and then the heal from Ophelia as well, which will probably get a very early Astrolabe on top of that. It's just really hard to combat early on. Now, it is, in a sense, a kind of all-in strategy with that, but you have Wretched Hag as well. And I think that was the thinking early on from B-Kid, is picking both Zephyr for the early to mid-game aggression, then you're going to... I think he thought he was going to get Ophelia, and then securing the late game with Wretched Hag.
Yeah, interesting. So it still feels weird saying that, but yeah, securing the late game with Wretched Hag, that definitely is a thing now on the competitive scene. So, okay, so it looks like they are going to remake the game here real quickly, and then we'll be good to go. Holy crap! What was that?
What?
The Malakin skin. It was like he was like this big ass dude with a huge freaking like bag on his back with like Christmas presents in it and stuff. I guess it's like Mally Claus or something. I'm actually gonna go to the store now. I'm kind of curious about that. Oh, we're back on screen. Anyways, I was gonna actually look for it real quickly. Which that was the so that was Malakin. Come on, store. Oh, this DJ Rhapsody, by the way.
Yeah, I've played that a number of times.
Yeah, this thing is really badass. Oh, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah,
there's some fun skins, man. Frosty to Iceman. This is Glacius? Really? That is an intimidating Glacius, man. Holy crap. Eggnog Master. Wow. This one was actually pretty cool. We saw this yesterday. This is a pretty Demented Shaman
that
skin.
is a really, really cool skin.
So where was the Malikan one though? Right, here we go, Maliclaws. Yeah, look at that. So it's basically Malikan. He's like a scythe
Giant
candy cane.
Yeah.
And then he has a big bag on his back. All right. Okay, getting distracted here though. Let's. I'm guessing the lobby is gonna be back up here. Gonna go ahead and join it. And start game number 1 here very shortly. So a little bit late of a start, but you know, once the series gets rolling, then we'll be able to advance on here. Of course, again, this is one of 2 series, as pretty much always here on the weekends here for HoNcast, bringing you 2 best out of 3s. Our first best out of 3 complexity versus myR Revenge for the losers bracket, and then the second best out of 3, of course, is that Stay Green versus Trademark Esports from the winners bracket finals, man. That should be a lot of fun. So
yeah.
Can we go back to the camera real quickly? I actually want to alt-tab here for a second. Yeah, there we go. Looking pretty on us. I wanted to make sure on the brackets. Okay, that's right. So myR Revenge, they ended up. Where did they lose? They lost
to Stay Green, I believe.
It was in the first round. Yeah, they lost in the first round to Stay Green. Then they've had to fight their way through since the first round. They defeated coSquad 777 originally. Then they took out Pudge 2-0, and then they beat Pikachu in the previous round 2-1. So kind of talk about the road for them as far as how things have come here. So, and again, they're finishing now at least top 6 and perhaps even top 4 if they get a victory here over Complexity. So.
Yep, and they've already secured their other diamond spot for the next cycle.
Yeah,
as well as 12 other teams.
Yep, 16 teams total, of course, in every single cycle for the diamond division. If you make it out of the first round of the losers bracket, then you're basically guaranteed to move back into the diamond cycle once again.
Yep.
So, and actually on that note, which teams are going to be dropping down? So coL Karma is actually going to be dropping down.
And they moved up last time.
Yeah, that's true. Then you got Shit Happens. Speaking of moving up, they're going back down. And then coSquad 777 actually is going to be dropping down as well. So
what are the other teams after that?
Shit Happens and coSquad 777.
Oh, okay.
And then coL Karma are the 3 teams, and then there was some buy issues. So I'm not exactly. Oh, that means then Duel and then Domain of Pain. That was the other big one. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Because they forfeited their first round matchup. So.
Oh yeah.
Domain of Pain gonna have to compete in the gold division. That's surprising to hear, but don't show up. You know,
yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with play really, because they've been playing pretty decently. It's just got to show up to play your matches.
That's it seems like it makes sense, right? You got to
like
show up to play your matches and be able to advance on. So they're going to be in the gold division come next cycle, and that'll continue. When does the next cycle continue? Speaking of that, viewing the full calendar right here. So of course everything's going to go on break here for the Christmas vacation and whatnot for the holiday season. But then things will resume. It looks like on the 5th actually. So okay, so we come back on January 5th is when things will be resuming here, as far as matches for not only HoN Tour but here on HoNcast.com our coverage. So. Look forward to that after tomorrow, of course, when things wrap up for cycle number 2. So
awesome.
That's a look forward. Awesome possum indeed. I don't know. A look forward on what's to come here for HoNcast. So, yeah, we went over those yearly awards yesterday. Actually, I have that paper here somewhere.
I moved it.
Did you move it?
There.
You meanie.
I could grab it, but then I would walk into nothingness.
There were a couple of categories that were definitely interesting. Of course, the bigger ones were best team of the year ended up being Trademark Esports. So
yep. Do you want to sit down real fast?
Of course, for what they do. Oh yeah, might want to do that.
There we go.
There we go. Trademark Esports won best team of the year, especially with what they've done recently. As a paper comes flying in from the side. How did that happen? So yeah, best team of the year, TDM. Most valuable player, the MVP. Again, a tough category depending on how you look at it. But Zai from Trademark Esports ended up winning that one, man. This guy's 15 years old, and the dude has just done some impressive things. He's on the best team as of late, at least in our minds. And I think it's safe to say, again, like even the best player on that. I mean, the guy is just consistently awesome for that team. So
he is.
Those are a couple of categories that stood out. But anyways, it looks like game number 1 is actually resuming here. So,
yep.
All right, I think it is time to jump back into game number 1 now and get things officially started here on HoNcast. So Complexity taking on myR Revenge once again. Let's jump into game number 1. All right, all pick mode this time. So, of course, just picking up the hero. I'm not exactly sure what the remake was for. With that said, I don't know.
I don't know. I think someone was just having problems with their HoN client or something. I think it was Chessie. But yeah, we talked a little bit. Well, I talked a little bit about the Complexity lineup, but the myR Revenge lineup is very interesting. Like, it's very unique. Malakin, Deadwood, Engineer, Master of Arms. These are heroes that we see from time to time, but not really in conjunction.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how they lane this. I'm guessing it's a support Master of... Well, yeah, how are they going to lane this? Maybe Suicide Tempest and support and 2 different dual lanes of, like, support Master of Arms. And, yeah, it looks like Master of Arms is going to go support, and Engineer most likely will go support as well. So, yeah, I'm guessing a Suicide Tempest, or maybe even some kind of tri-lane with a Tempest short lane. So their lanes are not clear at all, and that's one of the good things about a lineup like this is you can't really predict it.
Well, it kind of makes me curious as to, because when you think back at the lock pool, especially if they are going to run a Tempest Suicide, they had the option to run a Parasite instead of Master of Arms. And so they could have had a Parasite jungle, especially against this Ophelia, and Parasite in general, just a strong hero, of course. But they chose to go Master of Arms over him. I mean, the only thing I was thinking that they just wanted to have Tempest in the jungle, so that kind of made sense. But if they're going to run Tempest Suicide, then I'm definitely a little bit taken back by that decision. But in the end, we got a 5-man gank squad coming out right here. They're going to get the Ward of Sight down. Pretty effective right there. And using the Courier Force of Vision, the Hellborn team, though, in Complexity, they fall back before any danger happens. So, and it looks like, yeah, Storyfooter is going to be in the Suicide lane here. I mean, so what do you make of that? The fact that they passed up Parasite?
It is, well, yeah, if they're going to have a Suicide Tempest, then that seems kind of strange to me. I normally don't like 2 different dual lanes, especially with support MOA. Like, okay, I've gone back and forth so many times on support MOA, and I feel like I've finally reached a conclusion. I don't like it. I just think his spells don't really do that much. His stun is a very long cast animation, time. And it doesn't really do any damage. It stuns for a minimal amount. The stun action duration is not that bad, but I don't know. I've watched him all the time, and I've never seen him be that successful as a support. The ultimate is awesome. I'll give you that.
Yes.
The ultimate's great, but I don't know. I don't like him. I tried to like him, Breaky. I really did. I didn't grow on him.
I just like that, having gone back and forth, and he finally came to conclusion, and he sucks.
I didn't say he sucks. I just said I don't think he's that great.
Okay. Yeah, obviously his ultimate, it's very powerful. And actually when you think about it, especially for a hero like Malakin, who could really work with attack speed, not only the defensive Master's Call, but the offensive Master's Call can be very powerful if you synergize that together. So can maybe look forward to seeing that here in this game specifically. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. It seems like with the rare occasions whenever we see a Master of Arms support pop up, it doesn't seem like he ultimately, does the greatest. It just, there's better options out there, and again, that really just ultimately goes back to the fact that they had a chance to pick a Parasite instead of Master of Arms, run him in the jungle, but they chose not to. So we'll see if that comes back to bite them in the ass here, or if hey, it could work out at the same time. Architiger, great player, of course, and going to be playing this Master of Arms, so we'll see how they fare with it. Look at the lane setups and how they're coming about here. Look at the bottom lane. Malakin Engineer, going up against the Solo Bubbles. Malakin, of course, going to get absolute free farm down here with that Candy Cane Scythe of his. As Engineer applying some pressure to Bubbles and going to keep him harassed in the lane. And then you have Deadwood Master of Arms versus a Solo Wretched Hag. So the lane setups seem to be looking pretty solid so far from myR at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Beaky taking a lot of damage right now, and doesn't exactly want to use the Shell Surf at this moment. Yeah, he's going to use his health potion, I'm pretty sure, or just maybe actually regen. Top lane, look at this, though. Look at the role assignments we have. Chessie's actually playing his infamous Bird. He's playing the Zephyr. The Ophelia's actually being played by Moonmeander.
Oh,
Beaky playing the Suicide Bubbles, and Wretched Hag, of course, being played by Haxer. And so switching things up just a little bit. Namely, Ophelia's not being played by Chessie, and Chessie's playing the Birdman.
Yeah, we talk about that with several teams. Specifically, Stay Green is the one that comes to mind. It seems like some role reversals for even a top-tier team like them has been happening. But in the end, again, they've obviously been fairly successful lately, and including a victory over this Complexity team. But Complexity is not a team you would expect to see kind of role reversals on at this time. I mean, they've just been so consistent with who runs what. But again, it's not that's that dramatic by any means. But it's worth mentioning. So good point to bring up right there. Moon on Ophelia, Chessie playing that Zephyr, and I will say, Chessie does have a good history playing Zephyr. In fact, we see right here, speaking of Zephyr, Tempest in a lot of trouble, getting gusted in. A couple more auto attacks, not going to be enough, though. The pressure just not enough. Tempest was able to sneak on out of there, and Storyfooter survived. So I thought for sure we're going to see a bloodless kill, to be honest, but he gets on out of there somehow.
I don't think Zephyr had enough tornadoes up. I don't think that was doing enough damage, so he smartly backs away. You could get greedy and maybe try to make a play right there, but it could have been your death as well. So it's a smart decision by Chessie to back off there.
Bottom lane, we see again, is Nui here on Engineer. He is just really keeping B-Kid out of the lane. Already a level 4 Malakin compared to a level 1 Bubbles. Bubbles should be able to hit level 2 right here with the lane getting pushed up now. But you look at Malakin's farm, free farm, 15 and 10, just like his Deadwood teammate. Missing the bloodlust go in the middle lane, though, was Deadwood and Master of Arms, taking out Wretched Hag as they combo for a kill, so apologize for that. But Archie Tiger actually getting credit for the kill right there. Did you happen to be watching, Jeff? Okay.
Yeah, it was just a stun from, which actually is leveled up, so charge shot. The stun is 1.4 seconds. Again, it's not the longest in the world, but it was timed well by Azibba with the Rotten Grasp. And the Rotten Grasp plus that stun plus the little, even though it was a level 1 nuke, it was still a nuke from MOA. They just combo their spells nicely, and Wretched Hag with the low HP. Actually, it's not even that low, but it did a lot of damage, kept her in place, and she couldn't blink away in time, so she falls to the first blood in mid.
Yeah, a little bit surprising there. Again, I do apologize. It kind of sucks I missed that action. Would have been very curious to see it for myself, but Wretched Hag going down, so bloodlust kill in favor of the Legion team. Like I said, it went on Master of Arms, so that easily sets himself up for some early on boots as he already has purchased. And again, so far, Deadwood and Malakin looking to be a strong starts, but so is Chessie on that Zephyr. He himself is, in fact, the top farmer in the game right now, as he's currently sitting at 26 and 8, and he's going to start applying a good amount of pressure to this tower here, as he even kills the elementals that were just spawned by Tempest, so getting some extra farm out of that. You can say, look at Chessie, he's sitting on top of Storyfooter here, and just constantly harassing him beyond the tower. So interesting play right there. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Engineer coming in for a gank. Wretched Hag gonna dodge the Rotten Grasp, though now Engineer being turned on, and Haxorn trying to apply some pressure to him. He's gonna get hit by the Kegstone, though. And that will probably be the end of that as Master of Arms coming to support. So Engineer doing some roaming mid, not able to set up a successful gank, though.
I love Deadwood, man. I think this hero is so strong, and I'm surprised he's not first picked all the time. Or a lot more, I should say, or just picked up in the lineup in general. I think all his spells are so good. You think of him as this kind of, oh, I just press my R and then I do lots of damage to those squishy heroes and that's it. But you do so much more than that. In the laning phase, you actually have a huge presence. People don't think that. Like, you think you have to solo mid with Deadwood. You have to get those levels, but that Rotten Grasp ability, man, I think that's what makes him a hero more so than his punch. It's great for counter pushing. It's great for setting up ganks onto heroes to keep them in place, like Wretched Hag.
Yeah, and obviously his third ability too, the clear cutting. It's great for two cases. One, for setting up ganks or chasing people down, or the defensive matter, getting away from ganks, or getting away from dangerous spots. So, yeah, I mean, you are right. It's Deadwood is definitely a hero that, obviously, yeah, again, a lot of people, especially in the pubs, you think Deadwood, you think that Falcon Punch, you think it's just a one-hit wonder. But, no, he really does bring a lot more to the table when you look at the big picture. And on top of all that, he's one of the hardest hitters in the laning phase initially with that Hatchet and the Log, of course. So, yeah, a lot of good things coming out for a hero like Deadwood. And, again, Zibe here on Deadwood, he is off to a great start, as you've seen by the goal per minute chart. Him and Malakin continuing to do very well. But like I said earlier, so is Chessie. And then, you got to compare kind of Ophelia next in line there. Other than the Zephyr, though, it does actually drop off quite a bit. I mean, Moomiander on Ophelia not doing too horrible, but or too bad, I should say. But the rest of the team not doing that great. Whereas it looks a little bit better right now overall for the Legion side, I'll say.
I think there's a small misplay right here, though it doesn't seem like a big deal. It actually kind of is. Moonmander was camping the top rune, and Haxor, and the lane was pushed up in mid so much he wasn't getting CS anyway. He should have walked to the bottom and just secured that rune, and it was a big rune. It's an invis on the Master of Arms, so they could set something up here in mid. And nonetheless, even if they don't set up a kill, it's making all the lanes feared. Like, Bubbles is going to have to play all the way back, Haxorn's going to have to play all the way back, and yeah, that was just a very easy rune that Haxorn could have got with that blink ability onto Wretched Hag. They do get a very aggressive push coming up top, already a tower push up in the top lane, but Haxorn might be in a world of hurt right here. Had he got that invis, like I really do think that stuff like that is a big deal.
Well, especially if he gets killed right here. I mean, you can pretty much guarantee it was because of the invis rune picked up at Master of Arms. You see her blink from Wretched Hag, though. I think she actually spotted Master of Arms for a second right there. He just went in tower range. So getting her to initially blink, so they're going to push this middle tower. But look at the top secondary tower being pressured by Complexity. They got a very quick initial kill. Ophelia's here, of course, on Moomiander assisting, or being played by Moomiander. And this is going to be another tower kill here in favor of Complexity. They are going to get the middle tower. No! Oh, wow. Very close to deny from Wretched Hag, but they basically exchanged towers, but a secondary for a first one in favor of Complexity still. So good, great presence of mind overall from Complexity as a team.
Yeah, and the good thing is that they have most of the jungle stacked, right? I should say most, but this hard camp is triple stacked. Or is it? Yeah, it's triple stacked. You have another stack in the small camp right there that's triple stacked. Ancients aren't stacked just yet, but that's going to free it up for Haxorin to farm this out, then maybe free up the lane for someone else. Although the lane is all the way down here, and so in order to get it back, all you have to do is just, you know, pull this wave. Sorry, pull this this camp, and they'll have it. Bubbles, in the meantime, he's trying to fend off a push or some kind of push. In the bottom, it's actually that tier 1 defense tower. It's taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, it definitely has. Again, it's kind of funny seeing this Malkin skin is so scythe. Candy Cane Scythe glows here. Of course, when he's in his blue form, the Enchanted Flames form, doing even more damage, but also hurting himself as a result. Tower is dropping, but Bubbles is holding the zone, and he actually has Glacius nearby as well to kind of hold this off all together. And right now it's just Engineer Malakin, so I don't know if they're actually going to be able to kill this tower, as the creep clear potential is definitely there for Complexity. So solid holds coming out from them, and look at the Birdman, look at Jesse, 441 gold per minute. That double tower push at the top lane really helped, and on top of that, as you mentioned, the jungle was stacked a good amount. He already has Ghost Marches and Help with the Black Legion. He's going to Gust and Tempest right here. Glacial Blast going to have it. Tempest does have an ultimate, but the Typhoon comes out. Tempest going to be held down, slowed down at all costs, and Zephyr will get the easy kill. Here comes a great support, though. The blocks from the Elemental, trying to run through with the Ghost Marchers. Will it actually be enough? He's so damn tanky this early on, using the Cyclones, using the power supply, and he will easily be fine. Not power supply, mana battery, but anyways, wow. I mean, Zephyr is farmed, man.
I mean, there's a reason why Jesse has an account worth like 50% Zephyr played and 100% win. And this guy just knows how to play Zephyr. He plays it quite well, and maybe he will start to see more, you know, more Jesse on the carry role when it suits heroes, or plays heroes that suit him well.
Yeah.
Like Zephyr.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously there's so many heroes in a game like Heroes in the Earth, and that's a big part of it. And, you know, even though the certain role, the carry role usually isn't for Haxorin, there are certain heroes. In this case, obviously Zephyr, perfect example, where Jesse perhaps is just a little bit more comfortable and doing very, very well, as we see once again right here. They get the bottom tower on top of that, so things definitely started to look a lot better now for Complexity. Not that they were ever really looking horrible, but I think it's. So they're in a good spot, but, you know, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, because at the same time, Malakin and Deadwood actually 1660 gold saved up, so he's getting very close to an early portal key here. Yeah. To go with those Ghost Marches. Then you have a Malakin. Steam Boots and Whispering Helm already finished on him. He is continuing to farm very well himself. So as great as that Zephyr is right now, definitely myR Revenge has some good positives coming out for themselves too. Oh, absolutely. And Zephyr isn't like a hard carry late game. The hero that they have for that is Wretched Hag, and she has absolutely nothing right now. I think she just bought her Steam Boots. Not 100% sure. She might walk into a double damage Deadwood, though. There's a very... Oh, man! Deadwood just barely misses that Rotten Grass. That was so, so close. But Haxorin manages to escape away. Yeah, that was very close indeed. I mean, he just gets to that melee range for the what I call the Falcon Punch, also known as the Willowmaker. Then that would have been a guaranteed kill right there, especially with that double damage rune up, as you said. So he is continuing to kind of go around the jungle right here, but Zephyr is nearby, and obviously got to be a little bit careful about that. So he'll just fall back off to the side and come up top here and get away from what looks to be a good amount of pressure from Complexity. In fact, they're now going to push this middle tower, it looks like. Another 1,200 gold already saved up on Zephyr, by the way. He is nearing 500 gold per minute already. Jeez, we're only 11 minutes into this game. Yep. And he is already up to that point. But this middle tower going to be heavily pressured. You see the goo coming out right there for Master of Arms. That's definitely a big positive of having a hero like that. He has great creep clearing potential with an ability like that. So can definitely stall some of that pushing presence that's going to continue to come out here from Complexity, at least.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they want to push just yet as a Hacker. I said Haxor, but actually Chessie walks away and goes back to farming some neutrals. Moon is grouping up here in the mid, so maybe there's a little bit of miscommunication as far as what they want to do. They're all kind of grouped up here, but they don't have their main hero, which is Chessie on that Zephyr.
Look at the level spread here on Complexity specifically. It's a level 10 Zephyr,
yeah,
and then it's a level 4 Glacius, which is kind of funny. They're next to each other, and then it's 666 for the rest. So kind of interesting level spread here coming up for Complexity. You know, myR Revenge, you know, similar story, but Zephyr at level 10, by far the best farm in the game. So yeah, well, without Zephyr in this middle lane, Complexity, they wouldn't really dare do anything without him. So they're going to continue to play somewhat passive there while Chessie just continues to farm more and more. He has another 1,800 gold saved up now. Perhaps going to be finishing that early on Shaman's Headdress here. In fact, actually no, purchases a... the armor, what is that? Chainmail coming out.
He's going to go for a bulwark.
On his way for the bulwark, yeah, most likely. Rotten Grasp attempted right there, not going to hit anybody though. Wretched Hag is nearby, but Deadwood is going to fall back before too much comes out there. Bottom lane, Malakin maybe thinking about going on to Bubbles, but again, Bubbles with the Shell Surf should be fine himself. So yeah, he's going to go in right there with the sword. No, he's not. He just harasses.
The Bulwark is quite effective, too. Like, there's not that much magic damage coming out from this Legion team. There's a little bit. Oh, Deadwood might be in a little bit of trouble. Here comes the Typhoon on top of the Gust. Lots of magic damage. He just gets disintegrated, but he did buy his portal key before that death, so that's good for Zibba.
Yeah, that was... So that's kind of the good news of a bad situation, ultimately. I mean, because now he's dead. This is going to be a free tower push yet again for Complexity, especially with that Deadwood being dead here. Now, they do counter push the bottom lane at least, so some good news coming out there from myR. But ultimately, Complexity coming on top. Now, you mentioned the portal key purchase on Deadwood. Portal key also just picked up by Storyfoot, or actually on Tempest. Look at his items, man. Little red boots and portal key, basically.
That's really good.
Is where he stands. You like that?
Yeah, that's really good, and they're going to surprise him here, I feel. If they don't spread enough, like, okay, if you get a kill on the Deadwood like that, right about at this exact time, you're thinking, perfect, we've delayed his portal key, but no, he actually bought it. So if they get caught out of surprise, they, okay, yeah, I'm really happy they actually backed up, because that could have been a really bad situation for them. Same time, myR, they need to make something happen, and I almost want to wonder if Deadwood's just going to sit in fog and not reveal that he has his portal key right now. He does need the levels. He's actually only level 8 right now. I say that when you compare him to like Haxford, who's only level 7, but look at Chessie. I mean, he's level 11.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, especially Deadwood. You want that second tier ultimate as soon as possible, because you will just start nearly even one-shotting people the sooner you get it, of course. So he's actually going to bottle up a Hasten right here, so perhaps he can set something up, can exhibit here on this Deadwood. But Tempest has shown himself now, so it shouldn't be too much of a surprise anymore that both him and Deadwood, for that matter,
and yep, they both shown.
Have portal keys. So that's good news for Complexity, of course, and unfortunate for myR that they weren't. You said, I mean, Complexity, it looked like they were maybe going to commit to a secondary tower push here, and that really could have got ugly for them because of those portal key surprises. But they did fall back. They actually cleaned up the Ancients. And then they go back to farming again. Look at Chessie's farm. 560 gold per minute. It is not slowing down, constantly going up. He has another 2,000 gold already saved up on top of the Soul's Bulwark. In fact, you were talking about the Soul's Bulwark earlier. I don't know if you finished your point on that, but Soul's Bulwark, you actually like that pickup, it sounds like.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, there's two reasons. One, well, actually three. One, it helps you push. Two, it's going to give you lots. Well, you don't really need magic armor because there's not that much magic damage coming from this Legion team. And three, once you build into that demonic, well, not even then, even just the Soul's Bulwark by itself, it's going to give you and your team that extra armor that you need against Deadwood specifically.
Yeah, I think that's the big one for me. You know, getting that little bit of extra armor there for a hero like Deadwood, very, very powerful tool. Especially when we see a Deadwood pick, it seems like it's because of a tanky hero like this Zephyr being on the opposition, or again, as we like to put it, deceptively tanky. But now with the Soul's Bulwark, I don't know if that's really deception anymore. I mean, yeah, he is actually pretty damn tanky even early on in the game here.
And an Ice Brand.
Oh, wow, yeah, and an Ice Brand on top of that, because why the hell not? He already has 1,500 life, good amount of armor. Yeah, he is looking pretty damn good. The Soul's Bulwark is currently set to offensive, of course, and with that said, they are going to now group up and look to maybe push here. But again, you do have to be a little bit careful, knowing that Tempest has that portal key. If he gets that clutch ultimate, then all of a sudden things may not be looking as good for Complexity as they were before. But right now, things looking fairly solid for them. We're only 16 minutes into this game. It seems like we're actually even a little bit longer, but 16 minutes into this game even makes Chessie's items that much more impressive. Holy crap. Yeah, the fact that he has all those this early on. But they're going to go bottom instead and just keep pressure up all over the map, it looks like, for myR.
That's the strategy you have to do with Zephyr. It really is. Just stay together, group up. You know you're going to win the team fights early on. At least you should, as long as you cancel that Tempest ultimate. Like, that's going to be the biggest factor. And as long as someone doesn't get gibbed right away from that Deadwood punch, like, say, Haxorn dies immediately from the Deadwood punch, or Glacius. Glacius actually isn't really the prime target for Deadwood, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Ophelia, Wretched Hag, I mean, definitely, and Bubbles really the prime targets at any of those three, I would think. You'd be pretty comfortable being able to just jump and take out, but Zephyr is going to lead the way here at the bottom lane. Of course, everyone is here. You do see Glacius up here. Look at the Skeleton King from Moomiander, really off to the side. He's waiting for a Tempest initiation, and he'll be ready to cancel it ASAP if that happens. A vulnerability is going to come out. Devil with that invis. Who is he going to open? He's going to open the Bucket Punch on Zephyr right here. Where's the follow-up? Rotten Grasp even hitting, but no more follow-up after that. So dropping him about half life here, but the rest of the team actually running away, and the tower falls. And Complexity, well, they'll be fine with that.
I actually think Franzi was really, really far up. Like, there was no reason to maybe pick a fight right there. I know they wanted to, but with Tempest having that portal key in the background, and they don't need to fight them. They just need to hit the buildings with this strategy, at least right now. Once you get some more farm up on the Wretched Hag and actually Malkin gets a Shrunken Head, that's when you can maybe start picking some fights. But right now they have really no reason to. Look at their golden experience lead, 5,000 in each category. Right now they do some counter warding, they can easily pick up a Kongor. And look at that ward. I wonder, it's a very weird ward, like sinks into the cliff right there, right behind Kongor.
Oh wow!
That actually shows anything.
I'm curious. Yeah, very curious of what it actually does show, if anything. Something tells me it really doesn't show much because of just how it looks. But
oh, Bubbles almost got caught right there.
Oh,
Dead was obviously the punch was down as he used it on Zephyr early on, but Bubbles will be okay for now. Zephyr trying to chase over this Engineer. I didn't see I think he actually might have missed the Gust, but he might be in a world of hurt. Yes, he is, as Glacius gets the slow and myR gets the nuke. So good kill right there from Complexity.
Yeah, obviously Engineer just wrong place, wrong time. I think he might have even been trying to counter ward there, a ward or something, but well, he just got completely caught out by Zephyr and obviously toasted as a result of that. So Zephyr gets the kill. He now goes over to, I should say myR got the kill, but Zephyr there for the assistance. Now he goes over to the Ancients and cleans those up, so he already has nearly another 2,000 gold up again, saved up. You mentioned the Shrunken Head on Malakin. It is in the works right here. He just needs the pattern now. Of course, having the Warhammer and the Mighty Blade. So once they get that Shrunken Head on Malakin and go with the Whispering Helm and Steam Boots, then they can feel a little bit more confident here on myR about picking some fights perhaps. And again, a big thing to note about Malakin is that ulti form, not only for the splash damage that it brings, but also making him range, but also the fact that as soon as he activates it, he will get plus, at this point, plus 40 armor. That kind of reduces over time, but he will be a really beefy, tanky target that, now granted the Hellborn team, especially right now, it is a lot more magic damage, so that might not necessarily play the biggest role, but something to keep in mind here.
Yeah, and even though Haxorn CS is really, really low, like he only has 54, the fact that they have all these towers, put towers down quite early on, this is the last tier, or last outer tower, this tier 2 tower here in mid, it's making him get actually a pretty quick Hellflower. Like he's already got one Arcana, I think another one is in the works, he's got Grave Locket, he's got good build-up items with Grave Locket Power Supply, and his Steam Boots, so despite him having that terrible start with all these tower pushes and the strategy behind Zephyr and Ophelia, it's very easy to get those items still.
Oh, Engineer actually using his energy field right there. He thought some initiation was happening. He did get frozen by Glacius, but no follow-up, and that's a big deal. I mean, not being able to take advantage of the energy field going into possible team fight, pretty big deal. Zephyr missing the Gust, though. He wanted to go golden right there. He's going to take a stun, though. Will there be follow-up initiation? The sword throw going to happen. No port, though. And Zephyr will take a nice deny on the tower, at least, from Archie Tiger, but still, the damage done here by Complexity. They get the last outer tower to fall, and now they're going to fall back, maybe go for something like a Kongor attempt, and then perhaps try to start pushing into the base. But yeah, Complexity has complete map control right now, it seems like. Only 20.5 minutes in here at this game.
Yeah, are they going to go to Kongor? I'm not exactly sure. They actually do walk into Kongor now. Okay, good for them. Zephyr, this is one of the things I love to see too. It's one of my pet peeves when I see someone with the Bulwark and keeping it on offensive when they're fighting Kongor, because obviously it doesn't negate any armor right there. So yeah, I'm happy to see that happening. So yeah, I'm curious just to see if this ward actually does spot him, or if it does, or even if they just realize they can't take a fight at Kongor right now, so they're just all creeping up and pushing top, which is the right decision from myR.
I don't know. I mean, you have a Tempest, you have a Tempest Portal Key, you have Malakin, he just finished his Shrunken Head, like...
I don't know. I think a fight on Kongor with all this open space, when you know you don't have the superior warding, and you're fighting up against the massive gold deficit, experience deficit that you have, I would concede Kongor as well.
Well, that again, that ultimately goes back to I am very curious if this War side actually did even spot Kongor happening, or if we just simply got nothing for them. So, anyways, Kongor goes down in the end. So, Token of Life, yeah, sure. What do you make of it? You think Token of Life on Zephyr actually makes the most sense here? He seems like he's just so beefy and tanky. I mean,
he's beefy, but he can be killed.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to make it a lot easier for him to really fight these fights. He can go crazy. He can dive a little bit further to get that extra kill, whereas without the token he couldn't. So I think it's okay at this stage. Once he starts getting items like Demonic Breastplate, and actually he's going to pick up a double stack of Ancients in the Legion Ancient section, so that's going to be good for him. But once he gets like a Demonic Breastplate and a Behemoth's Heart, then no, he should not have the Token of Life. It should go into Haxorn.
As you said, though, I mean, here he's just cleaning up the Legion double stack Ancients and falling back. So Malakin, I mean, his farm, it's definitely damn impressive itself. He's 410 gold per minute, so Fuzi is no doubt doing work here for myR in that sense. But It's just really the chassis performance here on Zephyr has just been that much more impressive. So standing out more. But Shrunken Head, as I said earlier, has been finished now with the Whispering Helm Steam Boot. So he has that great combination going off. And Shrunken Head is a very powerful item, especially against a hero like Zephyr when he's farmed up. Because again, it goes back to, sure, he's farmed up, but he's just really this tanky, lot of magic damage dealing hero, especially earlier on in the to that mid-game stage. So getting a Shrunken Head will pretty much mitigate all of Zephyr's damage and hell, everyone else even on this Hellborn team. So not only getting him for CC purposes, but to mitigate the damage coming out will be big for Malakin. So definitely still the chances are there for myR Revenge by all means. So only 23 minutes into the game. It's good lead for Complexity, 7,000 gold, 8,000 experience. But Malakin can and very likely will be a very scary hero. Now, I do look at this stat right here. Only one hero kill still for myR Revenge. And especially when you have a hero like a Deadwood, that is unfortunate, but...
Yeah, it is. It's very unfortunate. Actually, there's only 4 kills total in this game. So, again, a pretty damn passive game, just kind of like a farm fest at this point. And Complexity, they're just trying to run out the time on their Token of Life. They don't really need to push right now. The optimal time to push it is when you have, like, 2 minutes on it or something like that. It's got 4.5, so they're content in farming right now, maybe getting to pick off and then looking to fight at that point. And one of the things that the Legion team needs also that's quite effective against Zephyr is push books. And you can't really get that right now because you have 2 hard supports. That's one of the problems of running this strategy is that you get 2 supports that just get no farm at all. Look at that. Znawi and Architect are both level 6 and 7 respectively.
Yeah. And
you compare that, well, first of all, to Franzi, who's level 9, having a much better game. And but you have to compare one of those supports to a jungler, which is Moon Meander, who's level 11. So when you run this strategy, that's one of the things. You have very strong lanes. Like, you're going to win your lane mid, you're going to win lane bottom in this case, but they just get no farm. And when you start to lose, it really starts to show.
It shows, yeah. It's about packing the farm onto a hero like, in this case, the Malakin, sure, guaranteeing on him and Deadwood even. But, yeah, really, how much of an impact has it had this game? And obviously the numbers kind of speak for themselves. So... yeah, again, as we say from the beginning, so it's not even really looking in hindsight. I mean, they had the chance to pick up Parasite over Master of Arms, and they chose to go Master of Arms instead, and you really do question if that ultimately was the best choice for them. So I really got to keep looking back at that. But anyways, the game moves on here now, 25 minutes in. Malakin working on his next tier of item. Another 1,800 gold saved up, so I could see something like possibly, like a Soul's Bulwark for him here. Or, do you have anything that you would prefer to see on a hero like Malakin at this point, now that he's got that Shrunken Head Whispering Helm already?
Well, the Bulwark is up onto Deadwood already, so probably shouldn't go for that. And that's actually kind of crappy because I really think Demonic Breastplate is like core onto Malakin. And you think it's great on Deadwood, which it is, because you want that negative armor to work with your ultimate. But I think Demonic Breastplate is so necessary on Malakin, it should not have been purchased on Deadwood. But that's a minor thing. You do have actually a Shrunken Head up onto Tempest.
Oh, wow.
It's fantastic for him, and quite early considering the fact that he was Suicide. He did leave the Suicide lane to go farm in the jungle a bit, but do we have a Skeleton King up on Moon? Yes, we do. So he is going to be the one saving grace for this Hellborn team if that Tempest gets a good ultimate.
Yeah, man. So he basically sat on Red Boots, and he actually just finally purchased a Ring of the Teacher. I was going to notice that, or mention that he was sitting on a Guardian Ring still. He didn't even upgrade that, but he actually just purchased the Ring of the Teacher here as well. So kind of funny having this late on, but hey, I guess it's still better than nothing. Another item pickable was, Hellflower actually just recently purchased by Wretched Hag in the meantime for Complexity. And this seems like a good timing for them. He got a level 16 Zephyr. He has 2 minutes to make out the Token of Life. He is not going to push up. Again, you do see the green goo coming out right there from Master of Arms. It looks like it is level 3 now, so some decent minus armor and some decent damage over time, of course. As a result of that, I'm still trying to catch the name of it. I always forget right as I go to it. Acid Bomb, that's right. All right, so Acid Bomb coming out right there, and it's a very strong creep clearing potential tool, of course. And now you got the sword throws, we see right there. Zephyr is about half-life right now. Again, he has a Token of Life, but...
Oh, wow, he took a lot of damage.
Yeah, he took a lot of damage, so you need to be a little bit careful. I mean, you don't want to give them a free kill by any means, so...
Right.
I don't know if they're going to be able to push in here. The creep clearing potential seems a little strong from the Legion team.
It is strong, but I feel like you kind of have to, do it at this time. This is going to be one of your better chances. You have the Token of Life. You have big item pickups on your team. So I think they're almost going to have to try to force this.
We'll see.
There is a lot of anti-push, though, on this Legion team.
Yeah, and you see right there again. I mean, they can't even get to the tower without Everything just being destroyed first. In fact, Zephyr again. Ooh, Kegsta missing right there. In fact, he was pushed back by Master of Arms. You never see really a blast shot used by Master of Arms, but using it right there. I'm not sure why he would even do that, but maybe he thought he was in blue form. What was I going to mention, too, though? Okay, well, anyways, token to life, 45 seconds left, so again, they're going to go for it, but more than likely, I mean, here we go, creep clear potential coming out, and the turret, and it just melts. They cannot get up the hill, so they finally say, you know what, this isn't going to happen. We're going to have to fall back, and that's exactly what Complexity will do, so that is a saving grace right there for myRevenge. I mean, they're really making a strong point that it's going to take a lot more from Complexity if they do want to break into the base now.
They're just going to wait out for next. I bet they're just angry. I'd be angry, too, like, come on, really? This is what we have to play against, but, you know, myRevenge has a fantastic anti-push. Even with the low levels on their supports, both Engineer and Master of Arms Engineer actually maxing that turret, so it's even more effective. And even though they're such low level, they can still be effective in that sense. And Sanitarius picked up on Malakin.
Ooh, wow. Again, this is one of those items. It's a very, very rare item to see on the competitive scene, but if there is a hero we're going to see it on, something like Malakin is definitely one of those heroes. So, yeah. It is a powerful item in the right hands, and again, especially on Malakin, you activate it, becoming that much stronger, and especially with the life steal on top of that, it's a very good synergy together. So,
yeah, it's really good on strength heroes that are DPS heroes, like not like your Kraken, who's not really thought of as like a DPS, or your Armadon, but heroes like I'm trying to think of here, like Berserker would be good on, Hammerstorm. Predator could be good on. Yeah, it's pretty good on Predator. Solstice, it's good on. Malakin, it's good on. And that might be... I'm probably missing one or two, but the strength heroes that are also deep... Oh, Panda. It's really good on Pandemonium, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember Korok always going for Sanitarius on Panda, and it just did so much damage.
Yeah. I mean, so you're listing off those heroes right there. I mean, you think of how many are actually seen on the competitive scene. Really, I guess Hammerstorm we've seen a little bit of lately, even that carry potential, but other than that, you know, not so much. So yeah, again, it goes back to... What's that?
Don't worry, Solstice will make it to the competitive scene.
Yeah, thank God he's not going to be eligible until at least the next season of HoN Tour. But it is going to be interesting to see what changes eventually happen to that hero over time.
Shout out to Waza.
He's put in, yeah, big shout out to Waza. By now, you should know that he is the creator of Solstice. All right, so Kongor, he should be resurrecting shortly here, and I have a feeling Complexity kind of knows that, so they're going to kind of hug around the area, maybe do some counter-warding here. Haystrom picked up there by Wretched Hag, so she's going to maybe try to use that to find somebody as Zephyr going around. Obviously, the Mnemonic Breastplate finish, he had that in the going into the last push attempt. He has another 2,600 gold saved up, so Chessie's farm continues to be very sustained here at about 560 gold per minute. Pretty damn ridiculous. We just hit the 30-minute mark, and again, you just look at the items that he has. You just think about that, like, wow, that's some impressive farm there on Zephyr. But yeah, as we saw, they tried to break it into the base, even with the token of life on Zephyr, it wasn't able to happen. The Complexity just could not get up the hill. The creep clearing potential was just too much, and myRevenge holding it off. So this buys even more time for Malakin to get that bigger farm. Still sitting on the one creep kill total. Ooh, Minotaur's coming in here from Ophelia. They're going to lock down Malakin a little bit, but there was zero follow-up, so Moomy kind of just having fun right there. Yeah, harassing him, I guess, but...
Yep, well, they got the bound die up on Bubbles. He's got another 2,200 gold saved up for BK. Look at his score, by the way, 0-0-0.
Yeah.
Pretty damn passive game, yet again. 4 kills in 31 minutes. And
jeez, yeah.
They've done their counter-warding. myRevenge has no wards over here in Kongor, at least in this area. And so they're just going to wait it out, get some superior vision up, and then take Kongor once it respawns.
Yeah, it is kind of, obviously, again, it's kind of shitty, you know, seeing a very passive game like this, especially as a spectator. But I'm a little bit taken back by it, specifically from myRevenge. You do look at their makeup, and it seems like this could be a very aggressive team. But at the same time, you know, they have been playing it smart. You know, where sure they've been giving up outer towers and whatnot, but in the end, they still have their base to work with. And, you know, so you got to give them credit there. But now Kongor is going to be attempted again, and it's going to be fast and easy. There's no way myRevenge is going to stop this, even if they knew it by now. They do not have any vision around the Kongor pit, so this will definitely happen here. And now we'll see if it goes to Wretched Hag this time. Is she even here? No, she's not actually. So I may go back to Zephyr actually. He's going to pick it up.
Goes down.
No, he will not. They're going to leave it for Hag. Okay. Yeah, she's going to blink in and pick it up right here. So yeah, makes a lot of sense there.
Yep.
Giving it to Wretched Hag as she is getting closer to finishing her own shrunken head, actually, it looks like. So
I saw Chessie buy the Axe of the Malphite.
Oh, well.
And then maybe he sold it because I'd be so astounded if he just bought an Axe of the Malphite and then had another 4,100. There's no way.
I mean, he would have already purchased Behemoth's art most likely then. So he probably just bought it and then he realized, maybe I want some buyback money and just to make sure. So
right. Yeah. Well, what you can do too, and what a lot of players do, and I think it's very effective, is split up your Helm of the Black Legion. Use that Beast Heart to make that Behemoth's Heart. To save yourself a little bit of extra gold.
Very, very true. We'll see if it comes down to him actually doing that here in this game. Malakin clearing up some more creep farm, another 1,800 gold saved up on him. So again, Fuzi's farming Malakin. It's continuing to be fairly impressive. 384 gold per minute right now. It's been around 400 gold per minute or so for a good amount of this game. But it's just, it really is small in comparison, though, at the same time to Zephyr. And actually, Wretched Hag, so Beacon on the, or Haxorn, excuse me, on the Wretched Hag is now around 340 gold per minute. So looking pretty solid there. And speaking of Beacon, actually in Bubbles, he has a Tablet Portal Key, and he actually just purchased a Storm Spirit there. And that, of course, could be a very powerful tool, especially when you have an Ophelia on your team, to be able to combo that if necessary with the Teleport back on top of the Storm Spirit. So,
yeah. Well, just look at how much complexity is out farming My Revenge. Yep. Like, nothing has happened really in the last 10 minutes, like nothing at all, except a lead go from 7K to now 17K experience. And the gold lead was around the same actually, but now it's about 13,500 gold lead for complexity. Like, they just know exactly how to use up the resources. And despite it being a passive game, they're playing it correctly. And it's definitely showing in the numbers.
There's the Behemoth's Heart right click. So he didn't even split up the helm.
Okay. He
just instead right-clicks the Behemoth's Heart, and obviously no buyback money at this point, but when you have, well, he's going to have like 2,600 life when he gets it delivered here, and when you're Zephyr with that windshield, you got the armor that he has, I don't think he needs to worry about dying. I say, oh, wow, 2,900 life, I even underestimated it. Holy crap. So nearly 3,000 life on Zephyr now. He is just a massive tank here. And going to be very difficult to deal with. And it looks like Complexity, again, may attempt to actually push into the base here. Hag, of course, has about 4 minutes, 20 seconds on the token of life. So still got a little bit of time here before they should feel forced by any means. But they're going to knock on the door at least a little bit here. myR Revenge will be forced, obviously, to put some
look at that turret.
Yeah. Oops. Turret's kind of the wrong way, buddy. Not going to be the most effective there. So they get more damage on the tower, and actually, another creep wave, they may be able to take it out, unless the creep wave is cleared quickly, which they can definitely do here on the Legion side.
I'm surprised they don't have a barrier idle up on their team, actually.
True.
I feel like they really need one, especially against this. Oh, good dodges from Zephyr. Wow, dodged everything right there. Actually gets pushed back right there, and the Glyph comes out. And this tower might get denied, No, it won't. Chessie gets first for kill, and now it's going to start right-clicking these racks.
Yep, this is what happens now, but they do have double Storm Spirit, so Ophelia and Bubbles actually. In fact, they jump into Tempest right there. The Shuriken is being activated. The Tempest holding them down. Bubbles jumps into it actually. The full duration comes out right there. Bubbles going to be bursted out. No, he's going to Storm Spirit though. Survive for now. Tempest Portal Keys away. He will survive as well. Zephyr in the foreground though. The Gust on top of Engineer. He also takes that Master of Farms. Energy field not doing too much work. Malakin finally jumps in, but Malakin gets bursted down right there. Something just did so much burst damage. Maybe it was that Bat Blast on top of the Hellfire, but he just melted away. The melee Rax falls. The range Rax is going to fall. And, well, what was such a passive game for so long could very likely just ended right there as a result of what just happened.
Yeah, Moonmeander tried to watch him the whole time to try to get that Skeleton King in a good spot to get that Tempest ultimate canceled, but it was just impossible. The way that it was placed, you would have had to... You would have spent 6 seconds walking around to do it anyway, so might as well just let the ultimate go. And yeah, Beacon literally jumped into the ultimate, even though I mean I always find ways to improve, even though they desperately there's still team fight going on. Defensive Master's call on Tempest, but it doesn't matter. Hag is getting actually Storm Spirit right now, can blink away at the moment, actually gets ported back. GG well played's coming out, and Complexity takes game 1 here, and a pretty passive game, but a very fun fight to watch there at the end.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, Beacon jumped into the Tempest ultimate, got Storm Spirited by himself and Moonmeander, but still cast absolutely nothing. Like he might have cast a Shell Surf and then maybe a song. He didn't cast his coL field, but that was just a very funny play by Beacon.
Well, another thing I actually noticed at the last second was that Malik can actually purchase Rift Shards. I didn't get a chance to check to see what level they were, maybe level 2, but Rift Shards going into the last fight. So he didn't have buyback money, and it seemed like he was also a little bit delayed. I was focused on the Tempest Ultimate, and I don't know if he actually got to initiate on top of that as well, because there was a full duration. But there were so many things going on. I wasn't exactly sure what Malik was doing through all of that. But it just didn't seem like players were dying nearly fast enough in favor of myRevenge right there, and especially Chessie on that Zephyr. I mean, he going into that fight was pretty damn obvious. He was so damn tanky, and it showed there in that team fight. He was pretty damn tanky. So in the end, Complexity, what was a fairly passive game, sure, but hey, they came out on top in game number 1. So we'll see how things turn out to be in what is going to be game number 2 coming up here shortly. But we're going to take a quick break here as always, so stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We got myRevenge taking on Complexity here from the losers bracket Diamond Division. We'll see what happens in game number 2. Sit tight.